It's easy to say that you are bullish, and we're talking to JohnBorn. He is the artist of one of the pieces in the Big Board Art Hall at the New York Stock Exchange. Let me introduce you to him. John, thanks for joining me on the East Coast.
Of course, thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I was invited to see some of your work right in that building. How did you get into that?
Man, it's been a long road. Me and Peter Tuchman, a good friend of mine, you all know Pete. We've been talking about it for some time. He's always been wanting to do some type of art project intertwined with the New York Stock Exchange. So when he reached out about the project, I immediately, started brainstorming ideas, and I came up with Bullishness. And it's basically a collection, and if you see how it's shaped, it's hung in the shape of a bull as well. So I did 6 pieces on the 6th floor. So it was just great. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I'm glad that he reached out, and it's been a long time coming, and I'm just glad we finally were able to execute.
And is that usually your style of art?
I wouldn't say so much. I kind of swerve into a lot of art styles. Typically I do a lot of mosaic. I wanted to go more basic with this one. I wanted to kind of draw everyone's eye, so I went more with a pop art style. Kind of out of my element, but I like being out of my element.
Oh, that's really nice. It's always fun to have a different kind of project, especially when you're working with a character like Peter Tuchman. But what usually is your style, and how did you get into that?
Well, what I do is I create very detailed realism, and then I break it up. And to be honest, it stemmed from a quote from my favorite movie. It's Purple Rain. Prince, he says, paint a perfect picture, bring to life a vision in one's mind. The beautiful ones always smash the picture, always, every time. And, I came up on that movie. He inspired me a lot. And when I started breaking my pieces up, it was kind of like something beautiful, but I was shattering the pieces based on that exact quote. And it started with just that. I did one piece of Prince where I used that style, and, a lot of my fans took a liking to it. And I kind of just, started using it a lot because it just made me comfy. It made everybody happy, and I kind of just ran with that style for a while.
That's a great quote. Now, you mentioned mosaics. Do you like to paint on canvas or on other things?
I mean, I love painting on canvas, but I like to just always paint something new. I like to paint things I've never painted. I like to paint, cars, whether it be shoes, jackets, motorcycle helmets. I have some plans for Art Basel that are pretty big. I'll leak a little bit of it now. I'm planning on painting a yacht. So what we're going to do is vinyl wrap a piece of the yacht, and I'll be hanging off the side painting it for a live event during Art Basel, whether it be this year or next year. It's in the works, but I just like to paint new things. I want to paint a jet. I would like to paint a huge building. It's just sky's the limit.
Maybe one day the New York Stock Exchange?
Hopefully.
Now, John, I have one more question for you. You also like to paint women, am I correct?
This is correct.
And do you also rap when you paint things, right?
Yeah, rap and sing.
How did you get into that?
Well, I started making music in about 2007, and I was more known for being an artist all my life because I've been painting since about the age of 3. So when I started doing music, if someone asks you, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do art, music, I do fashion. And they're like, well, which one do you really do? Like, people didn't necessarily want to take the music serious. So what I did was I found a way to intertwine the music and the art so that if you like my art, I'm going to familiarize you with my music and vice versa. So what I did was I created the JohnBorn experience, which is while I'm performing live, I cue the music, I bring the models with me. We do something very theatrical. I walk them through the crowd. We're all wearing masks. We're interacting, and then I start the performance. I do the singing, I do the rapping, and while I'm doing that with my left hand with the microphone, and my right hand is the paintbrush, and I'm painting the models. So by the time the 30 to 40 minute set is over, they have a full image on them, they're painted, we bow out, and, I show everybody the gallery that I curated, and I kind of just find a way to intertwine them all so people can kind of be familiarized with all of them.
Well, you know what? I'd love to see more of the experience. I'd love our viewers to see that experience. You are active on Instagram. What is your handle?
Indeed. Well, my Instagram is at JohnBorn, JohnBorn, and you can basically find me anywhere under JohnBorn, one word. A lot of people separate it, but just so you know, JohnBorn is one word, just like seal or share. It just has 2 syllables.
Well, I think it'd be really hard to miss you, especially in the streets of New York. John, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you again for taking the time to come on the interview today.
No, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me. Without a platform like you guys, artists like us don't have a voice. So thank you, and shout out to the camera guy.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you.